Watching Spencer Pratt take down Gavin Newsom is the best thing on the internet right now. Gavin Newsom threw a charity event where all these celebrities came and played a concert and raised $100 million for the fire victims of LA. Problem is, none of those fire victims has seen any of the money. So, C-list celebrity Spencer Pratt went digging to find out why. Spencer and Heidi Pratt's home burned down in the fires, and they have had all kinds of trouble trying to get permits to rebuild their home.
Oh, dirty Gavin Newsom, I caught you.
So a couple days ago, I had posted about a congressman calling for the investigation of where the fire aid money had gone to. There was a fundraiser that was created and over $100 million was raised towards direct relief to the fire victims in LA. This letter was sent to Pam Bondi to ask for the investigation of where the funds went. Well, like Spencer Pratt, this guy has been very loud about the fact that none of the fire victims, including him and his wife, have received any funds. And he came out with a video calling out the fact that it's been discovered.
All right, buckle up, this one's wild. We've got scandal, lies, and way too many missing answers. Let's start with Gavin Newsom, who's smack in the middle of a firestorm. Over $100 million meant for LA fire victims. Yep, it feels like a trashy soap opera, but it's real. And instead of getting relief, victims are still shouting, "Where'd the cash go?" Then out of nowhere, boom, Spencer Pratt shows up. Yep, the reality TV guy. And suddenly, things get even messier.
Well, I have unfortunately gone down this Spencer Pratt and Gavin Newsom rabbit hole, and I'm thoroughly entertained. For one, I think it's about time we give Spencer Pratt his flowers. The guy is a beauty. He's hilarious. I personally get a kick out of him, probably more than other people, because I have a very similar sense of humor to him. If you've seen some of my videos, I do like to post some rage-bait stuff because I thoroughly enjoy seeing the reaction from people and how ballistic they go for just like things that they see on TikTok. It's just, to me, it's hilarious. But anyways, I digress. So, situation with Spencer Pratt and Gavin Newsom, basically, there was a concert at some point after the tragic LA wildfires. About $100 million was raised, and a lot of people who unfortunately did lose their homes during that event kind of sounded the alarm on this, that said, hey, we haven't seen a dime of this $100 million. Where did it go? Well, turns out the money was distributed to several different nonprofit organizations, and one of them happened to be owned and ran by yours truly, Gavin Newsom's wife. Well, an internet sleuth and Spencer Pratt kind of brought this to light. Gavin Newsom's camp is 100% denying it, but Spencer Pratt has receipts. And let me tell you, it does not look good for Gavin Newsom. I don't know if anybody knows exactly how much money he stole, but all indications are that he did steal and basically launder millions and millions of dollars that was there to help out victims of a national.
After losing his own home to flames, Spencer became a man on a mission, digging into the chaos and exposing what others missed. What he found: shocking links, especially between shady nonprofits and, wait for it, Newsom's own wife. Sounds insane, right? The internet is exploding with this, and people are furious. Social media's blowing up, and everyone wants answers. Newsom probably thought this would stay buried. Nope, Spencer just yanked the cover off. If you're hooked like I am, smash that subscribe button. It helps me keep digging and keeps you in the loop. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. Charity event overview. Let's break this all the way down. It kicked off with a glitzy charity bash, something you'd expect in a big budget Hollywood flick.
All these celebrities came and played a concert and raised $100 million for the fire victims of LA. Problem is, none of those fire victims has seen any of the money. So, C-list celebrity Spencer Pratt went digging to find out why. Spencer and Heidi Pratt's home burned down in the fires, and they have had all kinds of trouble trying to get permits to rebuild their home. Meanwhile, old Gavin Newsom's out here doing a land grab to build his low-income home. So when Spencer started his digging to see exactly where this $100 million has gone, he discovered that $50 million of it had basically gone into Gavin Newsom's pocket. So So now that Spencer has brought so much attention to it, an investigative journalist from Circle the News has gotten involved, and she has done her own digging on where this money has gone. She has discovered that instead of the money going directly to victims, that the money is going to several nonprofits. Some of these nonprofits are actually using the money to help victims and going to their nonprofits to provide things for victims, but many of those have zero ties to victims whatsoever. One of the nonprofits that received the largest financial grant is called Cal Volunteers. Guess who is the chair of that nonprofit? None other than Gavin Newsom's wife. So y'all go follow along, because this is so interesting that the Attorney General is getting involved to find out exactly what old Newsom is doing with the money for these victims. And anybody that exposes Gavin Newsom has my full support. Mind you, this is all alleged. I do not need some...
Celebs and big names united for a massive concert, all to raise money for victims of the deadly LA wildfires. No one could deny it was a cause that truly mattered. I mean, $100 million was promised to bring some real relief, right? Well, that's where things started going sideways.
Have 4 seats that are represented by black folk, where the vast majority of the people that get to decide who they have represent them are black. They decided to attack 3 of the 4 seats that we have in the state. They decided to go after a Latina. They are specifically deciding to splinter the communities of common interest, as well as just blatantly say, we are going to dilute minority voices. So we know that the courts, ever since we've had a Voting Rights Act, have always found. We also know that there are donors that I'm sure are going to be willing to make sure that they are investing and making sure that they can take down some of these candidates, since they don't want to rule out dark money. I'm sure some dark money gonna pour in on the behalf of the American people. So what I am saying is every tactic, as well as making sure
That's when the whole story takes a dark turn. On the surface, the concert was a huge hit, glamorous, star-studded, everything you'd expect. But behind the scenes, something didn't sit right. Whispers started. Where did all that money really go? You'd think with $100 million raised, victims would be getting back on their feet fast. But nope, new reports claimed the help they needed was missing. And then
I just don't take anything at a surface level on social media. I decided to go to the Fire Aid website, where it does display that a total of $75 million has been given out of the $100 million. And I clicked on round 2. It starts off with this one, where it talks about how $700,000 was given for critical information for fire victims. And then when you scroll down, you do see Cal Volunteers, which is an organization that got a grant that took some of the money. I need you to pay attention to the one beneath it that says Center for Nonprofit Management. Remember that. This story started gaining more traction and more coverage started hitting this, because you go to Cal Volunteer and you check out the commission. Guess who is the honorary chair? That's right, Jennifer Newsom. Guys, Gavin Newsom's wife, she is the honorary chairman of Cal Volunteer. Decided to go back to the Fire Aid website, and guess what is conveniently missing on the list of people that got grants on round 2? Remember how I told you Center for Nonprofit Management? Below that and above that was Cal Volunteer. But today on the website, if you go search round 1 and round 2, somehow Cal Volunteer disappeared from the list of people that got grants. Now what appears above Center for Nonprofit Management is California Local Conservation Corps. Yes, you can scour through that list. You're not going to find Cal Volunteer on there anymore. What are you hiding, Newscom? We already figured it out that your wife is leading one of the nonprofits that got the grant. So we already know you took the money from the fire victim. You refused to bring voter ID back to get federal funding to the fire victim. So when you're out there on the campaign trail talking about how much you care.
Enter Spencer Prada, guy you'd never expect to go full detective suddenly on a mission, fueled by losing his own home to the flames. What he found, wild. His digging started turning heads, especially among real journalists. The deeper he went into Newsom family ties, the sketchier things looked. Evidence pointed to donations funneled into shady nonprofits. One name kept coming up, Cal Volunteers, chaired by none other than Jennifer Siebel Newsom, the governor's wife. And with every new discovery, it just got crazier. The media went nuts. Spencer's revelations exploded online. People were furious, and the trail of clues seemed to lead right to the Newsom household. The internet caught fire not with sympathy, but with rage. Memes, outbursts, and non-stop posts demanded justice for the fire victims. Everywhere you looked, folks were saying, investigate this now. Even mainstream media couldn't ignore it anymore. Think about it, money meant to rebuild homes just appeared. That kind of betrayal cuts deep. It's heartbreaking now. The governor's team is scrambling to contain the damage. But Spencer didn't just stir the pot, he lit the whole kitchen on fire. Every detail he exposed turned up the pressure on officials to step in. But this scandal raised a much bigger issue. How safe are donations in massive fundraisers like this? Are we really helping people or just feeding a broken system? Suddenly, everyone was questioning the charities they used to trust. And with Jennifer Newsm caught in the crosshairs, things hit a new level. When the First Lady of California chairs a disaster nonprofit under fire, people will pay attention. This wasn't just a typical scandal, it was political dynamite. The optics alone were explosive, and now, after all that's come out, there's urgency in the air. Will we get answers? Will the money be tracked? Will anything actually change? Some say an audit's coming. Others are whispering resignations. But one thing's clear, Pratt isn't just a reality star anymore. He's sparked a movement for accountability.